Trump administration is waging war against New York Attorney General Letitia James. The AG, who won a civil fraud trial against President Trump, is being accused of mortgage fraud. James has been referred for potential criminal prosecution, but is not yet facing any charges.
Trump stripped James of security clearances back in February, along with Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who prosecuted the president in his hush money case.
Now, James is accusing the Trump administration of weaponizing the government, and her supporters see it as the latest example of Trump making good on his promise to seek retribution against his political enemies.
Legal scholar and professor Jonathan Turley went on Fox News to discuss the allegations with Laura Ingraham. Let's take a look.
The irony is perfectly crushing. This is a person who prosecuted Trump for everything short of ripping a label off a mattress. And among the charges that were brought in New York, in not just the civil but the criminal case, was making false or misleading statements to financial institutions.
Clay Travis posted on X, New York AG Letitia James being prosecuted for lying about her assets to get a mortgage after prosecuting Trump for lying about his assets to get a bank loan would be too perfect. They always accuse you of what they actually did. And Roger Stone says, Tish, get this through your extremely fat head. It's not nice. You are busted with indisputable federal mortgage fraud. None of your phony press releases are going to distract anyone. Look for the FBI on your doorstep one morning soon.
Robby, I don't know why we're quoting Roger Stone of all people.
Well, I don't approve of of Roger Stone, but yeah. I do think the broader point that look, this seems like a kind of trivial matter, that things were characterized in the way they were in order to get this this loan, but I think it is a fair and valid point that these in particular prosecutions of Trump really hinged on I's not being dotted properly, T's not being crossed properly in order to pursue him. If you try really hard, this is just the case because there are so many laws on the books. If you try really hard to find someone that someone committed some tax or financial matter incorrectly, you will find something. They found something in this case. They found lots of things in Trump's cases. They have a wide range of merit, how merited they are, in my view. So I think I do take Jonathan Turley's point here.
It is an embarrassing case for Tish James. But let me first dispute the dot the I's and cross the T's thing in Trump's case, because Trump was perceived to have gained to the tune of perhaps billions of dollars by misrepresenting his assets. Some of those may be debatable, where you say, well, this property's worth this rather than that. It included, though, him saying that his own apartment in Trump Tower was around 30,000 square feet, when it is in fact around 10,000 square feet. It involved him saying that Mar-a-Lago would be able to be redeveloped when it does not have planning permission for that to be the case, or for a separate Trump building in New York. He basically glossed over the fact that a large number of the apartments are rent controlled, and he pretended that they weren't and they were market value in terms of creating.
How is that different at all in character from Letitia James listing her father as her husband for whatever the tax purposes were?
Because the scale of it is so different. Because in Tish James's case, and I'm not sure that we exactly explained what the issue is. The accusation is that a relative of hers was buying a house in Virginia, and Tish James apparently signed a document saying that Tish James, was buying this in conjunction with the relative. The relative, I think, is her sister, although I've seen conflicting reports about that, and that Tish James, would keep this as a primary residence. That then again is allegedly something that would have brought down the mortgage rate on the property. The mortgage on the property was for $219,000 and $780 on a $240,000 home. If she did that, that is wrong, and there should be consequences to that wrongdoing. It seems to me obviously different in scale to Trump inflating his worth and his assets by more than $2 billion over years.
The thing with the Trump case, though, that always disturbed me was that the bank that he represented his financials in that way did not feel taken advantage of or ripped off, and did not. This was not the case of a bank saying you ripped me off by saying something. This was the case of the government saying you did something fraudulent. But if I borrow money from someone and they don't agree that I've misrepresented myself, then what is the public interest or the government interest in saying, no, I disagree with you. You did misrepresent it. That's what troubled me about this one.
The government interest in that case is preserving the integrity of the system. So if you and I concoct some scheme where I misrepresent my financial assets and you say, well, that's okay, I'm not going to press the point, the government still has an interest in me not doing that, because if one is allowed to do that, it can lead to all sorts of wider problems about the underpinnings of the financial system not being trusted.
I am always very reluctant to involve the government in consensual transactions between two individuals if there is no dispute or disagreement between them, why that should be a good thing.
Well, we don't
have the government in.
Well, for a start, would you then back off the Letitia James case in that instance?
In all honesty, probably.
Okay.
I don't really care in either case. I think it's worth pointing out the hypocrisy, but no, I think politically motivated prosecutors or legal officials, if they go over all your forms related to all these things, will always find something you've done wrong and can pursue charges if they want. Have you ever heard that A Crime a Day, a book, where if you go through all of the numerous things we all do wrong, things we violate every day without ever knowing about, if you concentrate on it, you can find something, because it's just too impossible to follow all of it. The tax code is this high. I'm harping on taxes this week because we all just paid them.
Yeah.
But I was trying to go through your deductions. You can get some deduction if you have a home office. Well, what counts as a home office? Well, it has to be a room of, getting out the measuring tape. And Is this? And then I'm like, what am I doing? Forget this. I won't even count this as a deduction. Well, but it gets so, you know what I mean?
Well, yes, but I mean, in that case,
complicated.
But I mean, there isn't very much complicated about going to a bank or financial institution using one of your homes as collateral and tripling the size of the home. That is not an inadvertent mistake. That's not like saying, it's very complicated because you have to calculate, how much of your home is a home office and how much is a residence. It's like basically lying to inflate your assets in order to secure more favorable loans.
Sure, but that's what Letitia James did too, and I just don't care that much.
Well, she didn't inflate her assets. But anyway, the point is, I'm not saying that she should not face no consequences. I'm being more punitive on this matter than you are, Robby. I think that both of them should face consequences, but Trump's fraud is of a vastly greater scale.
Well, tell us what you think. Next up on Rising, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez unleashes on President Trump. More Rising right after this.